Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another Magic the Gathering Arena video. In my last video I have talked about, or I've tried to make the Patchwork Automaton playable in a Celestia deck, but it didn't work out that well, but I already saw that it might probably synergize very well with the Reinforced Ronin, as the Reinforced Ronin gets back to your hand at the beginning of your end step. And then you can recast in the next turn and just keep going with that loop to give that Patchwork Automaton those +1/+1 counters. So I'm trying to play this deck in a mono red version. And we are, this is like our key synergy, but we still play a lot of other artifacts that might help out get our engine going. I do still like to play the Kumano Faces Kakazan because the third chapter, when it becomes a creature, is just very helpful when it comes to exiling your opponent's creatures. There are still a lot of creatures that you would like to see in exile instead of their graveyard, followed by the Rabbit Battery. It's a nice 1-drop where you can get 1 damage in for just 1 mana, and it's also an artifact creature, so it also synergizes with the Patchwork Automaton. Also, when the Rabbit Battery is attached to a creature and the board gets wiped, which we are vulnerable to, we still keep the Rabbit Battery as a creature afterwards, and then it is a bit easier to recover from board wipes. Reinforced Ronin, I think it's a super cool card. Simply haste 2/2 for 1 mana. Of course, at the beginning of your end step, you return it to your hand, which can sometimes be a struggle. But in the synergy combination with the Patchwork Automaton, it works pretty well. The channel ability, always keep that one in mind, because there are situations where you maybe need that last burn spell and you cannot get through the opponent's defense line. Then you just channel the Reinforced Ronin and maybe find the Lightning Strike that you still need to deal the last remaining 3 damage. I also like to run a Braid, simply to interact with the board. We do want to get through our opponent's defense line, and the Braid can help, and Destroy Artifact also helps with the Reckoner Bankbuster that's currently everywhere in the meta. I also added the Dragon Spark Reactor. I think it's an artifact, also an artifact spell that synergizes with the Automaton, but it's a simple thing that it lays there. Opponents don't really rely on it, or they don't focus it, as they are busy with our creatures and our burn spells. And even if you don't stack it up that high, you can still at some point burn for 4 additional damage, and this is just super dope, as it helped me through quite a few scenarios where it dealt the last remaining amount of damage that I needed. So don't even need to stack it that high. It also is enough when it's maybe around 2 to 3 or 4 stacks on the Dragon Charge Reactor. Super cool card, I really like this card. Lightning Strike, simply pointing 3 damage anywhere. Then I also run Reckless Impulse because the card is too good to pass by. And then we also play Whirling Strike. It's something that I found out with the Patchwork Automaton. It can grow very big, but it then can still get blocked by a Death Touch creature, or you still don't get the damage through your opponent's phrase. So Whirling Strike gives you both of the best worlds. You get the first strike, you get the Tremble, and you get a nice little pump up. So super dope. And overall, I'd say let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Okay, this hand, looks pretty dope. Let's give it a try. Well, that is some interaction. Non-creature though. Maybe they will take the Reactor or the Whirling Strike, okay. That points toward that they have interaction for our automatons. Also keep in mind it's a complete budget deck. I think there's no rare or mythic in this deck. Okay. So next turn they will have the mana to pay for the ward cost, so I'd like to get rid of the Harvester now. And let's get our synergy going. Hit for 4. Cards that we don't want to see now is, for example, Brotherhood's End. That would be devastating, but our opponent is missing the double red here. It's okay. Alright. We will... we have to force the trade here. If our opponent doesn't go for the block here. Okay, they do. Forgot about the Whirling Strike. Alright. What we gotta keep in mind is at 5 mana they can come up with the Invoke Despair. Okay, Reckless Stormseeker. Will they keep it back as a blocker? They missed the land drop. And here we can really build up a very strong board. Sure, we still might face Sheoldred here, but I just want to keep up the pressure. We are coming in for 7. Sure, we are empty-handed, but for that we can still play the Reinforced Ronin next turn. Sorry, buddy, you gotta pay too. Good game. Alright. Nice! That's how the deck is supposed to work. Yeah, so let's quickly add 4 copies of Play with Fire and cut 4 lands to increase our interaction a little bit. Yeah, take it. Let's give it a try. Okay. Well, we don't have a creature for Kakazan, but if our opponent uses their mana in next turn for the level up, I'm fine with that. Okay. Tenacious Underdog. I'd like to interact with the Tenacious Underdog later when we can exile it with the Kakazan, so what do I want to do here? Next turn I'd like to Reckless Impulse, hopefully find a land to interact with Play with Fire as soon as the Kakazan is out. So what we can do is we can just pass the turn, interact with our Lightning Strike. And let's see if our opponent level ups the Sleeper. Perfect. Okay, they would go to damage. Let's Lightning Strike here. There's a Bankbuster, okay. So this Reckless Impulse urgently needs to find a land. Okay, this is really, really good. Because now we can attack with our etching and get rid of the Tenacious Underdog. Yeah, super dope. Okay, a Trespasser. Doesn't go for their own creatures, okay. Here we can... I think we will attack first to see if they interact with the Whirling Strike. They could have a cut down. Okay, Cruise. This one down. I think we will just bring out the automation here. Next turn we can stack up with our reactors. Let's see if they have Invoke Despair. And then we do the block. Okay, Invoke Despair. Yeah, I'll sacrifice the etching. Then we gotta make sure that our reactors are ready. Going in for 6 damage here. Let's see if they drew another invoked spare. That would be quite devastating. Soul transfer, okay. They don't attack. Interesting. Let's go for the impulse. Okay, another automaton. We can make that grow. And with that also our reactors. That our opponent didn't attack was helpful. In my opinion, they should be attacking and exiling their evolved sleeper. Okay, so we have 9 burn in our reactors now. They would need a Shieldred here, but we could take care of it. So here we will go for another Reckless Impulse. Okay, we found a land. We will play the Reinforced Ronin. Stack up our reactors. Our reactors can now burn out our opponent. We will attack. And if they don't interact... we do stand quite a good chance. Cannot activate the reactors anyways currently, so I'm fine using the Welling Strike to bait out the removal of our opponent. Alright, opponent has seen enough. Okay, this looks keepable. I like to open with the Reinforced Ronin, simply our opponent doesn't have anything on the board yet, so it's always free damage that you can get in on turn 1. Sacrifice, exile the top 2, choose one of them. Till the end of your next turn you may play that card, okay. We could start stacking the reactor, but we can also get in 3 points of damage here. And prepare for... and move towards the Kumano. Now we can play reactor plus Ronin. Let's see if our opponent has a counterspell here. They do. Which is actually okay for me. Would have liked to have the reactor on the board. But as they they can also have an Abrade and deal with it easily. We have 5 points of damage of burn in hand. Stern Lesson, okay. That gives us a huge opening to deal some damage here. Reckless Impulse. I think I want a Reckless Impulse first. We can still play the Reinforced Ronin. Okay. We got... play with fire and that. We go in for 4. End of turn we will burn for another 2. Bring our opponent down to 6, so they urgently need an answer here. Can't, okay. I don't think that that will save them.
If we must fight, geometric perfection.
Let's go in for some burn here. Then we should have it next turn. Alright. Land drop. Let's go in for 4. And play with Fireface. Alright. Kumano, Reckless Impulse, Double Ronin. We are on the play. I like it. Okay, again the mirror matchup. Play with fire, super dope, but we can still get damage from the Ronins in for free. So we will go for 4, bring our opponent down to 14. Okay. Gruel, okay. Iconoclast. Well, that definitely helps with blocking. Play with fire can take care of the etching. Do I want a reckless impulse here? Let's give it a try. Okay, a Braid can deal with the Iconoclast next turn, so we will pass the turn for now. Our opponent gets an etching. Let's see if they have a safekeeping or something like that. No, they don't, okay. Still we are taking 4, that's quite a lot. Place land. Send a pack leader. Okay, we will play reactor here. And then we will kill the Iconoclast. Though, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a 1/1 counter. This can also grow out of hand. But they can only cast 1 spell next turn that would make it grow, so then it would be a 3/2. And we could still interact with that. Or trade a Ronin for that. Thundering Raiju, okay. With that they are incentivized to attack. Well, and we are taking quite a beating here. So we can play 1 Ronin. Get a counter. And then we need to kill the pack leader before our opponent attacks. Place a land. There's a beast caller. Fine for me. Let's see if that resolves. It does, okay. Still Thundering Raiju gets in, pings us for 1. And a lightning strike. Okay, we are on the play. Ronin, Automaton. All we need is a follow-up land. Could also scry towards the land. But turn 1 Ronin is always free damage. Okay, another Automaton. Well, let's build a board here. Okay, an outlook. That gives us a little bit of time. Land would be great now. Duress, non-creature. They will probably take the Reckless Impulse here. Yeah, okay. But that is a great door. Automaton triggers off itself. And then Reinforced Ronin triggers both. Going for 5. Opponent has seen enough. Too bad. Okay, Braids, Kumano. I think we are pretty good for the early game here. Still gotta make sure that we keep it up. Swamp into a Kiba Reckoner raid. Well, I do have to say, I won't say no against an automaton already with a +1/+1 counter. See, another Reckoner raid. Priority moves pretty good, so I don't expect a cut down here. We are going in for 7. They will flip their first Okiba raid, but we can take care of it with our Abrade. Would like to find a Ronin here. Of course, a Flesh Gorger. Ronin, perfect. I think we will burn out the Flesh Gorger first. I don't want to give them any lifelink. Exile it, reinforce Ronin. I don't want to attack with the Ronin simply because I want to keep recasting it and keeping up the pressure. Opponent goes down to 8. Next raid that they flip, will we see a Sheoldred here? Yep, okay. And yeah, I'm fine taking the draw. Okay. So I guess we will play the Ronin. Keep stacking up. And then we will go in for an all-out attack. See how they block, and depending on who Sheoldred will block, we will abrade. That is okay. We are going in for 5. Sheoldred dies. The road captain would die. I think that I want to protect my Ronin again. So if they have a backup Sheoldred, we can take care of it. Going for 5. Sadly, we lose our biggest automaton here. We get our Ronin back. We are still protected from an Invoke Despair. Yeah, that is what I thought. Backup Sheoldred pretty good here. Still, we will pull it off, as we have 3 damage and we still have 1 burn in hand. They need a cut down now. They don't have it. Really cool game. Alright everybody, so these were a few games of my artifact aggro deck built around the Patchwork Automaton. I think if you can get the synergy going and if the automaton doesn't get answered early, you can have a lot of fun with this deck. Reinforced Ronin, you really need to know when you want to play it, when you want to attack. We often had the scenario, or we sometimes had the scenario where I said, okay, maybe it's better to stay back and not attack with him, just as in the last game against Mono Black, simply to keep stacking up the automaton and keep the flexibility of being able to channel the Ronin. It is kind of tough with the mana base. What I thought while I was playing the deck, I might consider cutting Whirling Strike or the Dragon Spark Reactor, simply to add more lands again, to always make sure to hit my land drops. I do still think that the Dragon Spark Reactor is a super cool card and has some synergy in this deck, and helped out in quite a few scenarios, but it's always about the matchup, it's always about the meta. I still would have to find out how this deck's, how the certain matchups go against Mono Blue or against Mono Black. Mono Red also really tough with this deck, I do have to say that. The opponent just simply has way cheaper creatures that get all of their power-ups from simply casting spells, and the Patchwork Automaton needs a little bit more time, but it can outgrow the opponent's creatures. So not that easy in the current meta, but it is a lot of fun, and due to the fact that it is a budget deck, there are no rare cards in here. You can quickly build it yourself, maybe have some fun with it, do some slight adjustments, and still enjoy the synergy of Patchwork Automaton and the Reinforced Ronin. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.